Hi everybody, welcome to week 2 of the Dynamite Rings sew along. This week we are sewing our D and E pieces together. I'm going to show you a couple different techniques that I used for sewing them together. The first thing I like to have on hand is a stiletto. I use that just for gripping fabric and moving things around. It's not required, but it is a handy tool. Another thing I like to do is to make sure that my sewing machine stops with the needle in the down position. If you don't have this ability on your machine, no worries, it's just like a nice bonus feature. So I always set my machine to stop with the needle in the down position. I also reduce my stitch length to 2.0. I just like to have a shorter stitch length. So the first way we're going to sew them is this way that's written in the pattern. So you find the center of both pieces, you pin them together at that center mark, and then I have the D piece on top and the E piece on bottom, and I'm just going to grab this corner right here and align it with the edge of the E piece. And I'm just going to use my stiletto, you can use your fingers obviously, to keep that in line. So I sewed 2 stitches, the fabric is now stuck together, and then I just use my stiletto to keep this edge right here in line with my 1/4 inch foot as I sew. Okay, so I've made it to the halfway point. I'm just going to take this edge and align it over here. You might need to give your fabric just a tiny little tug to do that, but it should just line up perfectly right there. Okay, so that is one way of doing it. The other way of doing it that does not require any pins is to take your D piece and put it on the bottom, and your E piece, yeah, E is yep, that's what we're sewing together, on top. And so then you just align the corners with that E piece on top, and you're going to sew a couple stitches. All right, and then now with my right hand, I'm taking the D piece. With my left hand, I'm holding the E piece, and as I sew, I'm going to move them in unison so they kind of come together. Okay, and then once I get to this point, I like to make sure that they're aligned together, and I sew them off. Alrighty, so you can see. Hey, buddy. Yeah, don't touch, don't touch. Sorry, we have a little visitor. Anyways, there you have it. Those 2 ways that you can sew your D and E pieces together. So there you have it. One was sewn using pins and one was sewn not with pins, and they're identical. Well, thanks, buddy. Sorry, we have a little friend in here moving my camera around. But there you have it. So you can either pin, if you're more comfortable with pins, you can pin the whole length if you prefer that, or you can just use no pins and sew it without them.